Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are starting Flutter in 2026 or you're thinking of starting mobile app development with Flutter in 2026, this is your perfect first step. So we'll be setting up Flutter from scratch. We'll fix some common issue with Flutter setup and also build a real counter app using the best practices that we have today, including Riverpod, the state management everyone is using right now. So no payroll expenses needed, just have a working laptop and a good internet support. So by the end of this video, you have a running app on your emulator or your real device. So make sure to stick to the very end of this video. If you have not subscribed to the channel, support the channel by subscribing, like the video, and also drop an honest comment at the end of the video. And let's get straight into it. So the first thing is to set up Flutter itself. So you can just head over to flutter.dev. So on flutter.dev, you can just read through Flutter. So basically, why Flutter, or what is Flutter basically? So Flutter basically is powering everything mobile web desktop with sleek UI and sleek performance thanks to Impeller. So Flutter basically is a cross-platform development, and not just for mobile app development anymore, but for both web, desktop, and other OS that are coming in the future. So it's also used for IoT and the like. So we can build mobile application that is under an iOS, and we can build desktop application, and we can as well build a web app with Flutter. So it's just like having a single code base, and you can run it on multiple platforms. So Flutter is just single code base, then it works on multiple platforms. So Flutter uses that is the programming language. If you don't have any idea about that, you can check the upper part of my video. I did a crash course or a basic of that programming language, where you can simply understand some basic concept of that programming language. So with that, you will have some foundational knowledge of that programming language. So that is that about Flutter itself basically. So now to get straight into Flutter setup, just go to flutter.dev. Then we can just click on this get started to get started. So we'll be starting with the installation, and as you can see, this is the official documentation of Flutter itself. So we'll be going through the installation. Although I have the installation on my system already, but I will walk you through it so you can have it set up and running on your system. And in case you run into any error, make sure to just drop a comment, or you can as well drop a message on the Discord or my Discord server, where I can answer you promptly and as well get everything, every issue fixed and everything up and running, and if you have any question as well. So the next thing now is to select the platform you want to install on. We have the Windows, Mac, and Linux. Because I'm on macOS, that's why it auto dictate that I'm on macOS. So I will first of all show you the guideline for macOS, then we can move to Windows, and if you're on Linux, you can just go through the documentation yourself. So the first thing now is to install Git. So Git is like it's version control basically. So, and as we all know, Flutter is open source, so we need to have version control on our system so it can track the current version of Flutter on our machine. So in case there's new updates, so you can easily update and do all sorts. So that's the purpose of having Git on your system. So there's different way of installing Git on your system. For macOS now, as you can see, there's few ways to install Git on Mac, but the way we recommend is by using Xcode. So if we go to Git official website as well, let me just type Git download like this, click on install for Windows. So if I switch to macOS, you can see like 3 different ways of installing Git on macOS. So we have the Homebrew, which is install Git, we have Macport, and we have Xcode command line. So for the Xcode command line, you just have to open your terminal. So to do that, just command space, then you can just write terminal like this. Then you can, let me clear my terminal, then I can say Xcode select install. So this will open up. As you can see now, it said the Xcode select command require a command line developer tools. Would you like to install the tools now? And so on and so forth. You can just click on install. So this will open up some agreements, so you can just agree as well. And okay, let me just continue anyways. So this one will start installing it. So I don't really need the software, or I already have it installed on my system, so I will just cancel it now, because it requires more space for it to be installed. Yeah, so and I already have it installed, so let me just stop this. So that's that about installing Git on your macOS. And for Windows, you can just easily download it. For Windows 64 setup, for portable, just download it like normal application. Once you download it, then you can just install it normally. So that's that about Git. So the next thing now is to download Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code is a code editor, basically. Visual Studio Code. So just Visual Studio Code, then you can go to the website, then you can just download for your platform. If you're on Windows or macOS or Linux, just download it. So once you have it downloaded, then you can just open it up. Yeah, so Visual Studio Code, the purpose of us installing Visual Studio Code, so we can install Flutter automatically from Visual Studio Code. So you can see to quickly install Flutter, then edit and debug your app, install and set up Visual Studio Code. So you can either install and use other code print system based on editor that supports Visual Studio Code extension. So you can as well use other code editor like also Anti-Gravity and the likes. Even if you want to use JetBrains and so on and so forth, you can do that, but the recommended one is Visual Studio Code as of now. Yeah, so to install Flutter now, and to install and set up Flutter now, we can do that, but first you have to make sure you can see now that you have installed Git and VS Code, then we can follow through the process. So make sure you have Git and VS Code installed on your machine. If you're having any issue with running the two, just drop a comment and I will respond to your comment promptly. Yeah, so to start setting up Flutter, just open up VS Code. So I'll just open up VS Code on my system now. So let me just say VS Code. So this is my VS Code basically. So it's just like a blank page. So launch your VS Code and by searching for it with Spotlight, or open it manually. So basically just launch VS Code. Then the next thing is to add Flutter extension to VS Code. So to do that, you can just go to the extension tab. So this is my VS Code now. So on this sidebar, you see all these icons. So we have this, all your own icon might not be as meaning as this big. The reason why I have all these icons here is because I've installed some extension already. So yours can just be 5 or thereabouts, but this extension is there. So just click on it, then you can just search for Flutter. So if you search for Flutter, you see it's the Flutter package, the Flutter extension itself. So Flutter extension, then you can just proceed. So as you can see now, once you add the data and Flutter extension to VS Code, then click on install and it will prompt you to the browser. So I already have it installed, but if you click on install, so it will install the Flutter and it will ask you for some prompts, and just click on accept and walk through the process basically. So the process is very simple. Just walk through the process, then accept every prompt that it asks you to install. So the next thing now is to open the command palette in VS Code. So to do that, on Windows you will see view. So on macOS as well, see view. So just click on this command palette, then search. So once you open the command palette, so just search Flutter. Okay, so once you open the command palette, search Flutter. So once you click on Flutter now, you see this new project. So just click on new project. So because I already have all the setup done on my system, it won't go through the process again. But for you, it will ask for some. It will bring us some prompt, and part of the prompt is VS Code will prompt you to locate the Flutter SDK on your computer. So select downloaded SDK. So once you select download SDK, it will start a process at the sidebar of your VS Code like this. Then once it's done, then when you select folder for the Flutter SDK dialog display, choose where you want to install Flutter, then click on clone. So this will directly clone Flutter from GitHub. So you see the process of downloading the Flutter SDK, so on and so forth. Then after that, the next thing is to click on add to path. So the struggle of, especially on Windows and macOS, having to add Flutter to path, you don't need to do that manually anymore. With just one click, it automatically add it to your machine path without you having to go to the environment variable yourself. So that is one of the benefits of using VS Code. So the next thing now is to check to accept VS Code Google Analytics. So it open up like, do you want to accept Google to track your usage? So you can click on, you can either agree or reject, but just click on OK. So to ensure that Flutter is available on terminal, close and you open terminal. So this is your terminal on VS Code. So to ensure that everything is working already, once the download is done for Flutter SDK and also all the necessary stuff is done, I mean you have agreed to Google Analytics and you have finished all the download and all, then you can restart your VS Code. So you can just close it and reopen it, so you can have all the new stuff. So that is that about that. So this particular installation is the same for Windows as well. Like if I go to the Windows part, the only difference is how you're installing Git. So just install Git for Windows and download VS Code for Windows as well. So the whole process is pretty much the same. So just go through it. If you're having any issue, drop a comment and I will respond to your comment, and I will see the best way to fix it. So that's that about setting up Flutter. It's it's very straightforward. So just let me know if you're able to do that. So the next thing now is creating a project on VS Code. So creating a Flutter project basically. So to create a Flutter project now, there's easy way to do it. So on VS Code we can easily create a project and get it up and running, but one of the command is Flutter create. So if you are seeing my terminal here, so we have Flutter create. So Flutter create is a command that you have on your terminal or command line when you have Flutter installed. So Flutter create simply means Flutter create a new project. So this is the command Flutter create. Then you will now give your project name, like for example my project. So this is we telling Flutter to create a new project and the project name is my project. Notice that instead of space we replace it with underscore. So space is not allowed for a project name. Some symbols are not allowed as well. Instead of using space, just use underscore. Numbers are not allowed at the beginning of the project name, although it can be at the middle or at the end of the project name, but it's not allowed at the beginning. So that's just that. So Flutter create my project, and as well we can easily create project on VS Code as well. So I can just open up this command palette again, then we can say new project application, then let me just select here, then we can give it a name. So I can just say let me just say my first app, like this. So my first app, it will start creating the project. As you can see now, you can see Flutter creates template, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. So to create the app, and we can see the output. So it's done creating the project. We can see all the folders here, and we can open it up and see the boilerplate from Flutter itself. So yeah, so this is it. So now this is our first Flutter project. We can as well just open up our simulator or emulator. If you're on Windows, you have simulator. If you're on macOS, you have. If you're on Windows, you have emulator. If you're on macOS, you have simulator. And also mind you, if you're on Windows, you need to install Android Studio to have the Android SDK available on your system. Also, you need Android Studio and on macOS as well if you want to run your app on Android emulator. Yeah. So just go to your browser and search for Android Studio. So just install Android Studio. So Android Studio has the SDK for Android development basically. So you just install Android Studio and get it up and running. You don't need to use this for as an IDE. Just have it installed and do the setup. It's pretty straightforward. So just do the configuration. Yeah. So now this is our boilerplate, and we will just do some simple design and just adjust this. So basically, as I mentioned, we'll be building a simple counter app, and we will structure our code as well in a way with the modern and the latest trend of development basically. So I will copy everything here and delete. Or before I even do that, let me run this app so you can see the output. So to do that, I'll first open up my simulator. So let me clear this. So to open up a simulator on macOS, I can just say open simulator like this. So it will open up the iOS simulator. On Android, you can see okay, you can see iPhone 16 in the year. So you can just click on it. You see the list of devices that you have available. We have Chrome if you want to run the app on browser. If you want to run it on desktop, this is macOS. On Windows, you see Windows, you see Chrome as well. So you can see this is my Android emulator, Pixel 8 Pro, and so on and so forth. So you can install different emulator based on what your machine can carry. So I'm currently using iOS simulator, which is iPhone 16 Pro. So we can have it here. So this is the device here now. So let me just open it up. Let me try and adjust my VS Code so you can see it. Yeah, I think this is perfect. All right, so let me just quickly run the app so we can see the first output of the app before we adjust anything. Yeah, so while we are waiting for that to kick off, let me just quickly explain the folder structure here so you can understand what you are seeing here. So the first thing now is the Android folder. So basically this is everything that has to do with the Android app. As I explained earlier, Flutter is a cross-platform development where we can develop on Android, iOS, macOS, desktop. And desktop, when we talk about desktop development, we have macOS, we have Windows, we have Linux, even we have Chromebook, although Chromebooks use Windows or Linux, I'm not really sure, but that is this. So for Android, everything here has to do with the Android configuration, because Android has its own settings. So all the settings for Android is inside this Android folder. So the next, this build is just a build folder. Then we have the iOS. So this is iOS configuration as well. Then this is our lib. This is where we'll be doing almost all the coding, like 98% of everything we'll be doing. It will be inside this lib folder, because this is where you do most of your coding stuff. So this is Linux. This is Linux for desktop development. We have macOS for desktop development. This is test, when you want to perform your unit test, integration tests, and so on. So we have the web. This is for if you want to build a web application. So all the folders are here. So once you are running the app on different platforms, like the way I'm running it on iOS now, that's why it's building from this iOS folder. If I want to run it on Chrome, it will read what I already have on my web folder here and build from it. So we also have the Windows folder for building on Windows. Yeah, basically, if I don't want, probably I just want to develop for Android and iOS, and I don't want all this extra folder like Linux, macOS, web, and Windows, I can just delete the folder. It does not really affect anything, so you can as well just delete the folder and just focus on Android and iOS, and that's pretty straightforward. So now our app is up and running, and this is the fourth app that Flutter generates for us anytime we create a new Flutter project. So now I'll be tweaking this. I will be building something simple from scratch. This is a counter app where you can just increment the value. So we'll be modifying this counter app to have like plus and minus, and also making use of Flutter Riverpod to achieve the functionality. So I will just copy everything here now and just delete it basically, so we can start from scratch and I can explain as well. So one of the first thing we'll do is to install a package. So in Flutter we have what we called package. So in this pop spec.yaml, so this is where we install third-party packages, and you can see dependencies where we have Cupertino icon. So to check all the package, all the dependencies that we have in Flutter, we have that package and Flutter package. So just head over to pop.dev. So on pop.dev, you can see a list of, you can see all the package, so you can check their documentation and all. So but for this particular one, we just need Riverpod. So as I said again, Riverpod is a state management solution and is one of the most used state management solution in Flutter. You can see the likes, you can see the download as well. So we'll be using it basically. So to do that, I can just copy it like this. So this is one of the ways to install it. I can copy it like this, come to my spec, then under here I can just paste it. Another way as well is to, on your what's it called, on your VS Code, just Control P, it will open up the command palette. Then you can put greater than, then you can search for that add dependency. So add dependency, then you can search for the for the package like this, Riverpod. So you can just click on it and it will install the package, but I already posted it here, so we are good. So just make sure you have the package installed in your pop spec, so to be able to use it on the code on our main.dat file. So basically that's it. So we'll be importing two package, which is material.dat. So import material.dat. So this is a material file, material extension. This is all the necessary thing, like all the pre-built widgets from Flutter. So now also install Flutter Riverpod basically. So next thing now is to start our function, which is main function here. If you don't have any idea about that program language, because Flutter uses that program language, I created a basic what's it called, a basic core concept of that program language, where you can learn some key concepts in that program language. Make sure to check in the comments, or you can just see a pop-up about the link, so you can just check that. The video is in, I think, in 10 minutes thereabout, so you can quickly just glance through the project to understand some basic concepts on that program language before you head over to Flutter itself, so you can understand some of this function. So we have this, our main function, and run app. Then this run app basically is where we kickstart our mobile project, our Flutter project basically, and we have this provider scope. So provider scope is from Riverpod basically. So I will now create a new class. We can just call it my app. So let me say, okay, to do that, let me just say st. We are creating a stateless widget like this. Then you can say my app. So my app like that. Then I can just switch this on to material. So material app, sorry, should be material app. Then title, let me just say my first Flutter tab in 2026. Let me just put it like this, and let me set the theme to something simple. Theme, let me just say theme data, primary SWAT. Then let's set it to color blue. Then home. So the home, we are going to create the home soon. So let me just set it to home page like this. So create a new file where we set the home already. So that's it. So for this now, this theme data, it cannot work with, you can see there, if I over the arrow, you see the constructor being called inside a a constant constructor, try removing cost from the constructor. So it's dynamic, so it cannot be static. So just remove this const and you're good to go. So now the next thing now is to create a new file. So I will create a new file, we'll call it counter provider, and I'll create a new file, I'll call it homepage. So let me first create homepage. So just new file, then let me say homepage.dat. So the extension for any Flutter file is .dat. So that's the extension name .dat. So the .dat is what will make it to dictate that is a dot file. So as well, let me create a new file. Let me just say counter provider like this. This can be inside our provider folder, but since it's just a single provider, so I can just keep it like this. I can just keep it simple. So I can say fauna counter provider should be equal to our state provider. So this is just a way of notifying the state that, oh, I want to make changes instead of performing it manually. So we have the keyword, then I can just set the default to 0 like this, and we are good to go. So you can just click on this command period, then import the package, which is Flutter Riverpod. So I will as well show you the manual way. Instead of using a package, instead of using state management, I'll show you the manual way that you can just use to perform the increment and decrement instead of using Riverpod, at least to understand the basic concept and all. Yeah. So on our home page, basically, so I will just quickly just design something simple, just a text basically. So we'll start with first of all, import our material widget. So material. So I have our material, then I'll just create a class. Let me call it home page. Then we extend our consumer widget. Then sorry, what is it? Okay, so we extend consumer widgets like this. So for this consumer widget, we have to import Flutter Riverpod. So consumer widgets where we have all the necessary widgets from Riverpod basically. So we have the constructor here, and the first thing is we have to make reference to the counter provider that we created here inside our counter provider file. So this is a counter provider. This is like a variable name, so I can just import this particular file here. So click on Control Dot, then you can see import library counter provider. So once I import it, then we are good to go. We have access to this counter provider file. So let me just quickly explain this. So we have our counter field where we can make reference to this particular provider here. So we call it counter. Yeah, so this one basically watch any changes that is happening. So we have ref.watch, so you can see the reference to the ref. So ref.watch, then the provider that we are watching, which is counter provider. So inside our app, we simply have a scaffold, and we have the ABA widgets. ABA basically is the ABA of a mobile app. Then we have the body. So the inside the body, we are just printing the counter value. So the counter value, the current value, and inside our floating action button, we have the increment. So let me just duplicate this. Let me put inside a column so we can both have increase and decrease. So let me say floating action button again. So we can have for decrease on press. So we can just say ref dot read, then our counter provider, then so our counter provider dot notifier. So it can just call the state like this, then decrease. All right, so let me call the child as well. So remove. So this should actually be inside. Okay, let me just put it like this. All right, so we have the decrease as well. So let me create a space here, so it will be readable. Yeah, so basically what we are doing here is that we are incrementing the value. So basically we are saying read, the read and write. So read, we are reading this and we are incrementing the value. So we are calling counter provider.notifier. So and the state, so the current state of it, we are incrementing the state. If the current value is 2, then we are incrementing it to 3, and so on and so forth. And so this is for the decrease. If the current state is 2, we are reducing it, we are subtracting 1 from it. So that's what this simply means basically. So now we can refresh our app and see how it works. So in my main.dat, I can just import this home page. So to import, just control period, then import under that, then I can auto restart my project to have the new view. Okay, so this is how it's work. Let me just quickly adjust something here in my column, so I can just send main axis alignments then to end. So this is main axis alignment. Instead of it floating here, then we can have it here, so we can see the plus and minus. So if I click on plus, you can see the increments, and if I click on minus, even though it goes beyond 0, but we can set some standard for that. But that's the basic understanding of Flutter development and what you need to know now. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any other question, and if you want more videos on how to get started with Flutter, drop your comment in the comment section. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe as well. Make sure you like the video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.